morning and welcome to another beautiful, sunny, and actually it's a very hot day. We just put some jackets on because we've come to quite an exposed position here. We are standing at Fort Point. Used to be an old fort here. This is Lighthouse's Fort Point Lighthouse. It's still operational. The foghorn has just been going off. If I ask my wonderful camera operator just to pan out there, you will see that there is fog out at sea, and if she keeps panning round, you'll see that this point of land on which the lighthouse sits, Fort Point, provides a natural protection to the entrance to the harbour, and the harbour is of Trinity, the town of Trinity, and that is the town that you can see across the way there with the brightly coloured houses. Our little town we're going to explore hopefully later on today, if not later in the week. We are in this area now for the next week, and we are staying at Loxton Path Campground, Provincial Park Campground. It's located, it's just 4 or 5 miles from here at Trinity, and probably about 15 to 20 miles south of Bonavista. Bonavista, if you recall, is the place that we went on actually the second day on our island. We went up there, we saw snow at that time, we saw the sea ice, the pack ice, and it was also there that we had the gentleman run into the back of our vehicle. So mixed memories of being in this area. But we're now going to spend some time exploring around and looking at hopefully some places we didn't see on our first time round. Certainly very scenic, but it's threatening with the fog to come in, so hopefully that won't be the case. We're going to see some birds that stand as tall as 3 muffins. They catch fish in the sea to bring home for their tea, and they are called puffins! No, they're gannets. Of course, she's right. Yep, we're off to Elliston Island. I think, is it Elliston Island or just Elliston? Elliston. We're going up to Elliston, up near Bonavista, where apparently there is a puffin colony, and they come in quite close to where you can view them from. So we're looking forward to seeing them. That was a bit of a climb. It's got me all huffing and
Puffin?
No, gannet. It's gannet. I keep telling you, gannet. Good afternoon, and what a beautiful day. We have done nothing but complain about the weather since we've been here on this island, and now we're still complaining about the weather. It's just too hot. I'm getting burnt. Oh, they've never known hot weather like it here. Anyway, over there, where you can see the white on those rocks, that's where we've just come from. That's the puffin colony. Connolly? Brian Connolly? Billy Connolly? Colony. We spent around about 3 hours over there, and we've had a fantastic time. The scenery's wonderful, the bird life's wonderful. Chrissy decided to do a bit of painting, and while she did, an American tourist approached her and offered her 20 Canadian dollars for a painting she'd done of a seagull. Didn't even do it today, just happened to have done it a previous time. So she's now going to treat herself in the puffin store. But we've just driven just a few miles down the road to have a quick look at this old flake, as it's known. This structure is where they used to bring and dry their codfish. They would gut the fish, open it out and lay it on the racks, and the air would get in underneath, and they would salt them, and that would preserve them, obviously in days pre-freezers and fridges.
Good morning, and what an early morning it is. We were on the road this morning at 5:30, leaving our house, the Airbnb that we rented in Hants Harbour, and we're now heading towards Clarenville, where time has finally come for Sterling here to be repaired. It's been a long time in the waiting, but we're dropping in at 8 o'clock this morning, and we had planned originally to collect a rental car for the week while he's being repaired, and to head back to the house with a bit of shopping on the way. However, towards the end of last week, we called into a Canadian Tire in Clarenville to buy a new screen tent, a mosquito tent for when we're camping, and met a very friendly man there who helped us a lot with the tent selection, and he then came out to see us out in the car park and dragged his wife out to show her the vehicle and to introduce her to us. And it turns out that James and his wife Jennifer, they run the Canadian Tire store in Clarenville. And then for those of you who aren't Canadian, a Canadian Tire store is, I would describe it for British people as a cross between Halfords car type store and a B&Q. So if you want to go in there and buy some tools, products for the house, camping equipment, car tyres, batteries, oils, a wide range of stuff. Anyway, we ended up chatting further in the car park for quite a while, and the upshot of it all is we've been invited to go and do some cod fishing today. So once we drop the car off, they're coming to pick us up, and they're taking us off in their truck to their boat launch, and we're going to go out and do some cod fishing. The only thing is, it's pouring with rain right now. Well, not pouring, but it's raining and it's foggy. So we're hoping that the weather picks up. Otherwise, we'll be in for a very wet day.
Yeah, very muddy. That's done it.
What's that?
That's done it.
So it's a sculpin, that's a good way to end it.
All right.
That's considered a bad luck fish. When you catch one of those, you have to move to another spot.
Oh, really?
They're so ugly, they're actually kind of pretty.
That sounds like one of my old girlfriends.
Could just be a boot, I'm not sure. Sculpin. Bad luck fish.
That is one ugly fish.
Huh.
Oh, look at all the. Has it got like lice or something?
It's got some sort of little sea shrimp or something like that.
So I suppose if I'm going to put this on our video, you ought to say, say hi, James. Yeah, no animals were harmed in the making of this video. Right, so this is James. James is someone that we met last week at the Canadian Tar Store. And in fact, James is, do you call yourself manager or owner?
Owner.
Owner of the Canadian Tar Store in Clarenville. And after helping us choose our mosquito screen tent, he then came out into the parking lot, or car park as we would say, and
That's
cod cheeks, and he very kindly invited us to come cod fishing, and look at what we've caught. Just enough to feed us two, I think. And the two girls have disappeared off down there with toilet roll in hand. Now I just got it. No, while you're there, I'm going to have to quickly come say hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
So, how's your hand?
Oh, it's coming around.
Oh, it's still
not
a bit swollen.
nearly as bad as it was. It's
No.
probably about half the size it was.
Jennifer is the best half of the couple that we're out with
I don't
today.
know about that.
Talking of best halves, where's mine?
She's found a spot where she has a great view to go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. I know she disappeared.
Hopefully she's going with oh, there she is. I was going to say, hopefully she's going with directions, because I figured if I took her one way, she could find the way back. And it looks like she was successful.
She hasn't been. Oh, oops. Well, but while we've got you both here, thank you so very much for bringing us out today. It's been fantastic that we've caught all this fish, and even better in a minute when we cook some. So this part here is fish cheeks and fish tongues.
Yeah. Yeah, those are considered the appetizers. So
Yes. But this is, so a boil up is a cookout type.
Basically a cookout.
Yeah.
Outside cooking, preferably with something like a just cod or big hunky
Smelling
chunks.
good. Yeah, smells great.
Oh, it's like a ceviche, like. Oh, I love it like that.
Have got our vehicle back. We've been without him for a week. He has been in a repair shop getting repaired from the accident we suffered back in April. For those of you that haven't seen previous videos, we came onto the island on the 5th of April. On the 7th of April, we had a gentleman not quite see us and caused a little bit of damage. The extent of the damage wasn't that great, but the method in which it had to be repaired, if it was going to be repaired properly, was quite involved and quite expensive. And we were struggling to find anybody that would actually offer to do that. We did find a company in a town called Clarenville, a company called Baker's Auto Body, and they suggested that they could do an alternative, which was to cut and splice out the damaged areas and splice in some new. So we bought some panels from the UK for them and had them shipped over here. Unfortunately, even though we were speaking to them around the middle of April, the earliest they could fit us in was 24th of July. We were actually due to leave the island on the 15th of June. So we've extended our stay. We have now had the repair done. Let me show you, and we are very pleased. This is what it looked like before the accident. Sorry.
After the accident.
This is what it looked like after the accident. And this is what it looks like after the repair. They've done a very, very neat job. As I was saying, this panel here, in order to remove this panel, you would have to take this panel, obviously this box would have to come off, this panel that the box is fixed to would have to come off, and to get that off, the roof would have to come off. So it was going to be a lot of work, and then all of the fittings and fixtures that we have inside would all have to be removed. A very, very big job. So they were originally, as I understand it, they had intended to cut and weld in to replace the damaged area is going to be done by welding. But when they removed the old panels, they found that where it had all been boarded out inside, there's insulation and timber, and they were worried about fire. So they've decided to do some panel bonding and rivets. And so now we have a lot more rivets on this side than we have on the other side, but I think it looks pretty good. The Land Rover's already had all these rivets anyway, so having a few more, and round the back here, same thing. They did the same cut and splice to this rear panel, fitted new lights that got damaged in the accident, But yeah, very, very good job. So now with repair done and the car, we collected the car and brought it back to our Airbnb yesterday, loaded everything up, and we're back on the road today. Our destination today is the Burin Peninsula. We are going to be staying tonight and for the next 2 or 3 nights at a provincial campground called Frenchman's Cove in the Burin Peninsula. But our journey down there today takes us through some towns and villages with names that reminded me and Chrissy very much of our relationship. And we'd like to share the progression of our relationship with you. When we first met, Chrissy felt very much like the name of this town here.
I feel no fear, and when you hold me, all my wounds are healed.
And then, as our relationship progressed, she started to feel a little bit more like the name of this town.
No need to escape.
Now, our relationship, I think, would be similar to any relationship, that in the early days there's a lot of intimacy involved, and when that's the case, I think Chrissy felt a little bit more like the name of this place. But after being in a relationship for over 20 years, she probably feels a little bit more like this now. Well, good morning and welcome to our exploration of the Burin Peninsula. Our first stop is here at... Oh, freaking hell's bells. Mon ami, bonjour. Oh, hang on. Let's do it again.